Okay, hi, good evening. Thank you very much for joining us today. Obviously, we all know what you're here for. You're here for the investment challenge. And part of this investment challenge, of course, is to get to know the tool that you'll be using to actually take part in this investment challenge. So, thanks again for joining us. And, we are very glad to have you here. So my name is Jadave. I'm actually one of the sales staff within CGS CIMB. If you do have any questions, right, what you can do is you can actually hold off till the end of the presentation. And we will be answering your questions anytime then. All right. But without any further ado, right, we'll just get started. All right. So of course, this is the usual disclaimers. Again, thanks a lot for being online with us. So these are the usual disclaimers that we always have for any webinar. Just do take note of them. I'm going to skip to the next slide in 3, 2, and 1. Okay. So this is of course going to be a bit of a drier session because it's really all about the platform and the tool that you'll actually be using. So just do try to pay as close attention as you can. Hold whatever questions you have to the end again, right? And if you do need any real assistance, right, what I'll be doing is that I'll definitely show you guys right at the end, right, the live platform if you guys need me to go there. All right. So this is what you'll actually see upon login, right? And obviously it's gonna be a bit it's not as easy for you to actually take note from here. So it's going to be broken up into a few parts for you to actually register. Okay. So obviously 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and yeah, that's it. Yeah. So to touch on the first part, right, you will see at the extreme top left just now, the first segment that I was talking to you about, you will see this little search bar there and some small icons. All right. So this search bar, right, actually you will see the words there, it's instrument search. Instrument search, right, helps you to find the asset. You can search by the asset code or your name. So for instance, Apple, right, you will search APPL, which is the stock code, or you will search Apple Inc. and you'll be able to find the stock itself. Yeah. Obviously, you only are using CFDs here, so only CFDs are shown. Okay. Hang on a while, sorry. So the next segments of this, right, you'll actually see the other two boxes there. One is actually the icon on inbox. The inbox icon actually will show you guys, let's say if you have any notifications for this current trading chat. And the last one is settings, or if you need to do any adjustments on any of the platform itself. Okay. So I understand that you guys have covered a bit of what CFDs are already. So right now, right, I'm just going to quickly run through with you again. And as a reminder, right, what CFDs actually are. CFDs are not owning the asset, but a contract that actually stipulates the difference between the open and closed positions, right? So you don't own the actual asset itself. And why you actually would want to speed into CFDs, right, will be that you can actually invest in CFDs at a fraction of the cost as compared to, let's say, shares, because it's leveraged, right? And you benefit from your price movements of the underlying asset. So you still get, let's say Apple moves up 5%, you still get the 5% move. Apple moves down 2%, you will still get a 2% move, right? And why we'll possibly need to slow down is because the corporate actions do impact CFDs differently. So you'll need to keep an eye on that. Number 2, there's always counterparty risk because it's a contract, it's not the actual share. So you can't just hold the share, right? Of course, right, your losses can also be magnified because you're talking about it in a leveraged basis, right? And lastly, there will always be costs, right? And right now, with a high interest rate environment, as I'm sure all of you have been aware, there are going to be a lot of things you need to pay attention to in terms of the financing costs, in terms of holding the share. Of course, it won't really come into play in this challenge, but it's just good to know. Yeah. So right now, right, I'm just going to continue on with this segment to just let you know that, let's say when you go into assets itself, right, you can actually see that assets are listed in multiple markets itself. So you will see that when you search for something like, let's say, Vermilion, you will see that Vermilion Energy is listed as a CFD in Canadian. But if you actually click the drop down, you will see that it's showing that it's listed as in the US market as well. So do take note and make sure that you always select the correct counter that you want to trade, or the correct listing that you want to trade. Yeah. So only trades that are executed in the Singapore or the US markets will be counted towards the investment challenge. So for a stock like, let's say, Vermilion Energy, if you're trading on the Canadian market, it actually will not count towards the investment challenge. So please do take note and make sure you trade in the US equivalent for this counter. Yeah. So if you're not already on the Telegram channel, please do join our Telegram channel. There will be a lot of things that would speak. You can learn more about the investment challenge, and you'll be able to see if we do give any updates on the challenge itself. Following this, right, I think we just now as well. I was also touching on the notifications. This is just a very quick look at what the notifications will look like. Yeah, demo accounts do not actually have dividends and things like share splits and things like that, right? They actually do not affect the share quantity. They only affect the profit and loss tabulation. So do take note to not keep this and keep shares that, let's say, that are going to undergo any share split. Let's say, for instance, if a share is going to undergo share split in the investment challenge duration, make sure you sell it off at a profit, or if not, you should sell it off first, because if it undergoes a share split, you will definitely be at a loss position. Yeah. So please do take note of this. Dividends also don't come into play in this challenge. Yeah. I think, of course, the last part, of course, is the account settings that I was telling you about, right? So these are some of the very basic account settings. If you want a bit more insight or you need any assistance with this, do let us know again. We can always assist you. So next, right, I'm going to go to the second screen, right? Just now in the main presentation, when I showed you the first login, the top right was the first screen. This is the second screen, which is the one in the second part where you really need to pay attention to. It's Watchlists. So what exactly are Watchlists? Obviously, you guys know, right? You guys will put any counters that you're looking at into this Watchlist. Okay. So how do you add a counter to the Watchlist? Well, when you're on Watchlist, you can click New to create Watchlist. If you want to select from any created watchlist that you have already created, just click that drop-down button over there, and you'll be able to see the watchlist that you've created. To add any instruments to the selected watchlist, you can see you click the Add Instrument. You'll see, let's say, if I search for MZH, which is nanofilm, you'll see nanofilm come out. If I click that, boom, it's added into the watchlist. So, of course, you can add as many counters as you want to the watchlist, and yeah, you can save it in the other Singapore market. You can save a whole list of counters. You can put it on sector, up to you. Watchlists are there for you to utilize here. I want to move on quickly to the screener, right? Screener is within the same top left segment of the screen itself. When you click on this Explore button, you can select from a list of screens that you have already previously set up, right? And let's say if you go to the next segment, you click on this Filter List, right? You actually see that they have there are some screener criterion that you can select from, which are shown below here, right? So your descriptive and fun and technical screeners are there for you to utilize. It's basic, so take this all, you'll use it as you will, but it is there for you to utilize. All right. To create a new screener, you just need to select New, and of course you can save your screener criterion as well, so that you can utilize it throughout the course of the challenge. Or let's say if you do want to get back into that screen, right, that you have initially set up. More options wise, right, you will see that there are some options such as save results as a new watch list. So let's say if you actually screen out all the technology stocks that have been up 30% in the past, for example, in the past month, right, you can actually save all these results into a new watch list, whereby you can actually go back into any of these counters at a later time. It's all up to your preference and how you want to utilize this platform. Yeah. So manage columns will be to change the view. You can change what columns are seen firsthand, so that you can see what are important to you. All right. So that's a screener. Alerts wise, well, it does basically what it says, right? You add an alert for the stock. Yeah. So all you need to do is you search. When you click Add Alert, you search for the stock that you want to find, and you actually just need to select based on this screen over here what kind of settings you want to set for the alert, which means, is it lower or equal to a certain price, higher or equal to, how long do you want the alert to be set up for? Just to have a keynote though, the alerts only work within the platform. So if you are outside of the platform, you expect the platform to alert you, it will not. So please do keep an eye. if you do want to have, if you do want to take action at certain prices, and let's say you're not on the platform itself, you have to keep an eye outside of the platform. Yeah, please do be aware. Of course, next, right, you can filter and search from all these applied alerts. Let's say you have saved like 20 alerts for 20 different stocks. You can search for them, within filter itself. Yeah. Now I'm going to go to the top right. Just now, I'm sure you guys remember, right, that when you click under the search, I showed you can search for stocks there. When you actually click the stock itself, right, what it will do is that it will change some of the screens that are in the main screen that you see, and predominantly what you'll see change in this is this product overview screen. Okay, so this product overview screen will show you what you clicked and searched for in the first place. So just now, let's say I searched for Apple just now, it will show me Apple right here. Okay, so product overview, right, of course you will see some basic information about the company itself, okay, under overview. And you can see right here, I've scrolled it down for you. All right, next, right, it's analysis. Under analysis, right, you will see that you can see some things like analysis, analyst ratings, and so on, right? In the main actual platform that will be, but of course this is a demo account, so you're not going to see much of this. So just for your knowledge, company fundamentals here are relatively updated though, so you can keep this in mind if you want to utilize it. These are some of the company's fundamentals if you do want to take a look, and if that's one of your trading considerations. Next, right, of course, you can add specific alerts from here within the platform itself. Just need to click the bell icon at the side there. You can add an alert for the counter through this right screen here. Of course, it will then show up in the left screen just now that I showed you, right? Next is to add to watch list, which you can also do so from here, and it will show in to any watch list that you want to add it to. Yeah. Lastly, information. Now, this is a very, very important segment whereby, in any case, right, if you do have any questions about any of the counters that you're trying to buy into, or let's say you do have any questions about any of the trading conditions of any of the counters, right? What are the margin requirements and so on and so forth, right? Do go to the I button. It is a very, very useful tool for you. You get to see what are the transaction costs. You get to see what are the current, what are some of the margin rates, what are the risk ratings for the counter, and so on. So it is a very useful tool for you to keep an eye on. Do use this information tool whenever you need it. Okay. Lastly, this trade button, it's obviously for you to execute and buy and sell. So next, right, from that trade button, when you click it, I'm going to bring you guys through what you will see, which is this trade ticket. So this trade ticket, right, it's going to be, again, quite simple. All you need to do is, execute through your whatever buy and sell, set your price, and so on and so forth, right? But some of the very basic breakdown of this trade ticket is that you can see on the top right, there's an I button. Again, is to see the information about the share and the listing. You can search for other companies with this search button, so you can change what is shown on your trade ticket, okay? And let's say you want to change order types, you can actually just select from here. I'm not going to really explain what some of these order types are, but if you do have any questions on it, please do either search up, or you can always ask at the end of the session. I will not mind going through with you. Yeah. There are also these concepts of simple and advanced order types, right? And under advanced order types, right, there's many types and strategies, especially under algo trading. But the main thing I want to highlight to you, because you won't touch most of the functions with algo trading, but one of them you might use is pre-market limit, whereby the pre-market in the US market opens around 4:30 at the moment. So let's say 4:30 in the afternoon, you want to execute a pre-market trade, you can actually do so by going to algo and pre-market limit. Yeah, not for the post-market though. So let's say after the market closes at around 4, you can't actually continue trading. Okay, so please do take note of that. Next, of course, you can toggle your buy and sell. Very, very simple. Lastly, of course, adjusting of your quantity. Now, I want to point your attention to this calculator button right at the side there, right? Through this calculator button, right, if you actually click it, you actually are able to select amount in, let's say, quantity in terms of USD, amount in USD that you want to pay for. And if you click apply, right, what they'll do is that they'll apply that requisite amount in USD as a share number, and they'll help you to key in that quantity itself. Okay? So if let's say you want to buy $3,000 worth of Apple CFDs, you click 3,000 USD there, they will automatically tabulate for you how many shares that would be. And 20 shares will be included right there. in the quantity. Okay, so you can utilize this if it helps you. Next, of course, you adjust the price of the order price or whatever price you want to order. And lastly is the duration, right? Where you set, let's say you want to do a day order, a week order, good to carry that will last, however long you want it to. Yeah, so on and so forth. You can also set your take profit and stop loss orders here. Let's say if once the order enters, you can have a take profit point and a stop loss point, right? Lastly, this is the segment that you want to pay attention to as well. There's always cost involved in trading, and this is the cost of the order. And you also can see some associated interest per day calculations. Yeah. So just for you to know how much you will need to, how much the share will need to move for you to actually make back the amount in terms of cost and so on, you can actually see a little bit from here. Yeah. The nominal value, of course, is continuous price. Margin available is how much you have available to use. And initial margin impact, right, is how much money you need to take to actually execute an order for $3,000 worth of Apple CFDs. Okay, and in this case, because Apple requires initial margin of about 10%, you'll see that it's around $300, which is why you see initial margin impact about 350 cents. Yeah. So just for you to know, and of course that's interest per day. So some other trade information for you. So firstly, right, if you're looking to close an existing position, right, you want to sell off, or if you're long in a position and you want to close the long position, or let's say if you're short in position, you want to close the short position. Best way to do it is to click close in the order book area, which I will cover later. Okay. Next, selling in the trade ticket, right, actually opens a short position. It does not close the thing. So just do note on that, okay? Number two, right, when you actually do any placement of orders, right, the orders are always bought and sold the same quantities. So let's say if you want to take partial profit, do try to enter in your 20, 20, 10, for example, right? Or if not, right, if you actually do a short position itself, what you actually will need to do is you need to close the order for the entire bulk of it. All this we'll cover again shortly later. So you do hold your questions, but later on we can cover this again, all right? Next, just want to point out for your attention, not all shares are eligible for short selling. So I'm quite sure all of you know that the market has not been doing very well. So let's say if you have a feel that you want to short the shares, or you are thinking to yourself, this share is a meme share, 100% will drop, the kind of thing, you want to try a short sell. Not all the shares you can actually execute short selling. So do take note, yeah? So for instance, if you are familiar with the Singapore market, you will see that actually you're not able to do a short sell for a counter such as Tuan Sing. You can see that they will show a prompt. So just do take note of that. Next, within the same top right option, I'm just going to quickly run through this part because it's charts, right? Charts, I'm sure you guys know what it looks like. When you go into this button, you open the charts new window, and when you click full screen, this is what you'll see, okay? They will take over your whole screen, okay? So I'm just going to quickly run you through what are some of the buttons here. If you do have any questions later, we can get in touch with it, but this is buying and selling from the chart. When you click it, you can buy and sell from the chart, adjusting the chart period, adding the asset to do a comparison, right? This to search for and change the asset that's actually shown within the chart itself, okay? And then this one will be to link and unlink modules in the platform, which affects, let's say, if you click something, what will show and display on the chart itself, okay? Changing of chart type, adding of indicators, adding annotations, hiding annotations, cursors, so on and so forth. All of these other things, right? Just there for you to utilize. If you are not sure how to use it again, please leave your questions to the end. You can ask me. I can always go through if I have the time. If not, do search up, or if you really need assistance, please feel free to write it and let us know. All right. When you do add or remove charts though, you can actually add or remove up to 4 charts in one frame. So one screen, you can see up to 4 charts. If you really do want to do comparisons between, like, let's say you want to see a comparison between, let's say, NVIDIA and AMD, for example, semiconductors, you want to see a comparison of how the charts are moving over the past 2 days, you can actually set up more than one chart in one frame. All right. Now, lastly, I'm just going to quickly show you this position and orders segment. So this is a segment that you want to keep an eye on because, of course, when you do execute any purchase of CFDs, you will see that it actually shows up in your positions, right? So this is actually rather important for you to take note. So under the positions tab itself, right, you will see all your outstanding positions. You will see that none of these orders actually have take profit or stop loss orders actually recorded in them. So if you actually want to add any take profit or stop loss, you can actually click respectively at any of the segments under add itself for the share, and they will allow you to set a take profit or stop loss point for all the shares. Okay. Next, of course, when you click close, you open the trade ticket to close the position. Do take note, this is the ideal method to close any position that you have. Okay. Next is when you want to see information about the position that you currently have. Like for instance, you want to see what the cost that you have paid. You want to see what is the exchange rates you have quoted. For example, if you're trading a Singapore market share with USD, for example, right, you can see your exchange rates that you have taken up here as well. Okay, all under the I. All right. Then next, of course, you can adjust the column view of the positions. Okay. Next, right, I'm going to go to the next part of this bottom tab, orders. So orders, right, are any order that you set up that is still queuing in the market itself, right? So for instance, when I queue to buy Apple, another 20 shares, for example, it will show up in orders. So this is the place where you will see if you do place any orders, do check back and make sure that it's within this order segment. If it's not, yeah, you will probably want to do it again, or yeah. So the number in brackets, right, and the segment of the orders there actually shows you the number of current orders in the queue. So it's a quick way for you to see how many orders you have outstanding at the moment. All right. And then of course, if you want to adjust or cancel the current order, you want to make it market order, or you want to modify the order to add more shares, or adjust the price itself, or so on. That's where you do it. Okay. Lastly, is this order and trade plotter. Order and trade plotter, right, is actually just a place for you to collate what you have done, all the actions of buy and sell that you have taken within the past period of time. So there's a filter there that you can actually select. It's you can search for information about the order itself, and of course this is the filter I was talking about. You will see that you can change with the date range. You can select what kind of orders you want to see, what types of counters, duration, and so on and so forth. So this order and trade plotter is for you to pay attention to, the historical records of what you have done and what you actually look to execute. Yeah. Now, lastly, is this bottom segment over here, and I mean, this is probably the last part that you probably need to really pay attention to, because you will want to find out and you want to keep an eye on the margin utilizations and so on, right? Because definitely this is a leveraged counter again. You can't buy more, or you will need to make sure that you apply your risk limitations to make sure that you don't utilize too much margin, and this is where you actually will see how much margin and so on that you actually have. Okay, so it's account details and summary, and you will see that there's a transactions not booked segment whereby you will see, like, let's say if there's conversions, interest, what have you, it's all there. There's a cost to close all positions in the account. This is the margin that you have used to open all CFDs positions at the moment. So that will be the 4 counters that you saw just now in the other positions. All right. And let's say if you still do want to enter any new CFD positions, what you see here is how much money you have to open as initial margin to open new CFD positions, which is about $2,900. At that point of time, it was that. Okay. Now, margin reserved, right, divided by initial margin available actually gives you this margin utilization percentage, which ideally you would want to always keep below 50%, but that's my preference. Of course, with you will probably have different, you'll probably have different things in mind, but just to take note, if it hits 100%, it definitely will be closed. So don't let it hit 100%, all right? Now, lastly, of course, you have a net exposure, which is the value of all the CFD positions we have held. You will see that it's a lot more than what's in your account value. So again, that highlights the point that I brought up about CFDs, which is why you probably would want to slow down, because you could possibly lose more than how much you have actually put into the account or put in as money. So do take note of the net exposure, or whatever risk limitations you have, right? You can pay attention to all these things through you're looking at this account details and summary. All right. Now, this exposure coverage is in simple words, how much your account value covers your exposure. Yeah. So in this case, it's about 36%. Yeah, and you would want your your exposure coverage to be relatively higher. Higher is better, of course. Now I'm going to go back up to the top tab itself. So just now, what you have seen in all these screens that you have seen just now, it's all under the trade screen. Now you will see the research screen, right? And the research screen itself, right, will just allow you to see some very, very basic things about, the counter itself, or whatever research you want to do. Okay, so if you go next, right, you actually see that what you'll see straight away under research is news. News itself, right, there's a way for you to actually search for counters. You can search for specific counters. Say if you're looking at Apple, you can search for all Apple related news, and you can also filter the news based on the news providers, or based on a certain date range itself, right? But news providers, we only have two, which is NewsEdge and Dow Jones. Okay, you can also search for keywords. So let's say you want to search for inflation, for example, right? You search the keyword of inflation, all the articles on inflation will come up, right? So of course, the next part of research is the calendar, which not super important to you, but if you do want to pay attention to what are some upcoming economic events, this is where it will show under calendar. All right. Lastly, account. So what is an account is essentially just a breakdown of your current positions, which is your portfolio, what are the profits and loss you're making at the moment, what's absolute exposure, yada yada. This is the segment that you want to pay attention to, because this will be what at the end of the day, if you do want to win, this is a segment you need to make sure that you are ahead of. Okay. I mean, right now we've more or less come to the end of the presentation. It's a quick one. Just hope that you guys so far are able to catch up and are clear on what are the platforms things so far. Just want to wrap up by telling you and just engaging you and letting you know that I'm sure you guys are aware that the links for the account should already have been sent out to you. So if you have not already received the links to the account, right, please do check your spam, check your junk. Make sure that you check within your inbox as well, because we have already sent it out. If you still don't have it, then right, please do let us know. Then what we'll do is that we'll actually follow up with you, make sure that you have it ready. Okay. Next itself as well is that if you guys actually want to play a fool with the platform, or try out the platform by yourselves, you have time all the way until the 1st of October, which is a good 1.5 weeks, right, for you to actually go and execute anything you want. Whatever trades that you do within this period of time will not actually be counted towards the challenge, and will actually have a refresh itself. So on the 1st of October, when the challenge officially begins, all the positions or all the buy and sells that you have actually executed will actually be wiped from the account. What will remain though will be a watch list, and whatever kind of annotations, or let's say if you draw charts or anything like that in the platform, will all be shown. So please do go ahead, utilize the platform. You can go and execute anything else. You can go and try out, go and buy shares, go and sell shares. Get used to the platform, because this is the tool that you need to use, just as a hunter needs to get used to his bow and arrow when he's hunting for game. So you too need to get used to the platform when you're actually going to execute any of the trades itself. Yeah. So I mean, without any further ado, this is actually more or less the end of my presentation. Thank you very much. And right now, we'll take any questions you have any. Okay. So I think first questions, right? First question from one of the students that I think we have seen, right, is actually that will commission charges actually be simulated? And the answer to that is actually yes. So if you actually see in the platform itself just now, right? Let me just go back to the slides itself. Let me just show you. You will actually see that the cash balance here is no longer $5,000. Reason why it's not $5,000 because already there is money that's been taken out because of the commission that has been needed to actually execute some of these trades. So yeah, cost will be taken into account, and let's say interest as well will be taken into account. So it all comes into play when you're actually wanting to win this challenge. Yeah. Do we have any other further questions? Currently we don't seem to have any much questions. Wait. Okay, I think we see one from Wansi in terms of whether the demo account has been sent out. I think we have already answered that, right? Yeah. So yeah, okay. So right now what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a peek at the live the account's current state to actually show you guys what happened. Okay. So if you guys actually can see, I've actually flipped over my screen to the current live account. Not really live, I mean it's the live it's the account that you will see itself as well when you first log in. You can actually see that the same positions I've taken up then are still here, right? And you can see the requisite profit and losses from there. And I want to point your attention out to this Tesla right here, right? You will see that the position opened 700 plus and the position, the current close price is about $300. Why is it as such? As I mentioned just now, right? Tesla actually had a share split. So right now, right, they are actually it's a 3-for-1. So Tesla actually should be within the range of around whatever price I have opened here should be divided by 3, right? So quite obviously, because the quantity is not going to be reflected correctly because we don't take into account corporate actions, you can see that right now it's 5 shares and the close price greatly differs and affects your P&L. So again, just want to use this as a reminder as well, make sure that you pay attention should there be any corporate actions and all, because you wouldn't want to be in the midst of any of things like that. Okay? Yeah. But apart from that itself, the platform is as is. So yeah, you will see all the same things that I showed you just now, all within the platform itself. So final reminder, the I button is very useful. Okay? Do utilize it whenever you need to. You can actually see it through here. You have your trading rates in your instrument. Yeah, it's useful for you to pay attention to. Let's say to even see how much it will take. Let's say to hold on to a certain counter. All these things are really important for you to pay attention to. Yeah. If not, I think just want to hold off again, see whether there's any other questions from the floor. Okay, I think we do have another question. We are talking about the participants, what is the criteria to win the challenge. You will be assessed on certain criteria again. So as a reminder, you'll be assessed on 3 criteria mainly. So firstly is a profit and loss, right? Which is essentially, what is the hard numbers. So if you go into account, first thing that you see, right, you will see like what is the value of your positions. You'll see your account value. Okay. This P&L here, this is your first point. Okay. So let's say if you're like me, if you're like this demo account here, you are in a negative $2,000 range, definitely not going to be something that is there. Okay. Secondly is your risk management, right? Of course, which you will need to be very clear on how you want to manage your risk. Lastly, of course, your presentation, what the ways that you actually were thinking of undertaking your trading and so on. Okay, so those are the 3 criteria as a friendly reminder again. Yeah. Okay, I think we do have another question. So the question will be on whether we can change your trading plan in the middle of the challenge. Yeah. Okay, so you actually do need to finish your trading plans actually by the 28th of September. So in all likelihood, right, it's better to be very firm with what your trading plan is and stick to it. Discipline actually is really, really key. But of course, the markets are how you manage the account at the end, right? And that's where your risk management, your presentation all comes in as well. So whatever your trading plans are, if it's really, really not working out, you might want to consider taking a different approach. And all these things will come into play in your presentation because you will want to make sure that you are still in the game, okay? So I think we do have another question from the floor. What are some good companies to buy shares from? Okay, so I'm going to presume that you are saying, what are some good counters to start your trading journey in? Well, it really, really depends on what your risk, what kind of risk you want to take, and what kind of reward you will get from it really depends on that as well. Okay, so as a rule of thumb, if you are really not sure, if you really want to try something out first within the challenge itself, you can always try your bigger names. Your Apple, your Teslas, your FANG stocks, right? To begin with, are always quite clear. Or if not, you can always go for stocks within Dow Jones, because your Dow Jones industry stocks tend to be the blue chips of the US market, right? So you wouldn't really go very far wrong from there. But I think the disclaimer here is that, of course, when you go for bigger companies that are less risky, you will tend to see less volatility. And because your aim is to trade and your aim is to get profit, you might not always have the biggest profit if you're going to stick to the big names. So again, it's all within the risk, your adjustment on, what kind of risk reward you want to take, what's your trading plan, and really really depends on you. So I mean, some of the names that you can throw, of course, are the FANG. And if you don't know what FANG is your Facebook, your Amazon, your Googles, your Netflix, uh Apples, right? So that's your FANG stock, yeah. Apart from that itself, some typical Dow Jones companies that you might want to pay attention to from the financial sector, for instance, would be like your Wells and Fargo, or your JP Morgans, and so on. Yeah. Okay. So I hope I've answered your question as well. I mean, if you do want any other advice, you can always look back at some of the trading, or some of the past webinars that we have actually went through. I believe there'll be some shares that I mentioned as well. Yeah. So are there any further questions that you guys have on the floor? Okay, I'm just going to give it a little bit of time. And while we take some time, okay, wait, I think we do have another question from the floor. So, okay, the question is whether it's a good idea whether we can buy ETFs such as SPDR lah. Okay, yes, you actually can do so. If you do want to actually buy ETFs, you can actually do so as well lah. There's no problem with that. But there's a list of what kind of ETFs that you can actually go through. So do take note whether it's included in the list itself lah. Okay. So the list itself is really in your Telegram chat. Do join the Telegram channel to go and see what are some of the things that you can actually make sure you try to enter into or not. Okay. Hope I answered your question there as well. Yeah. Anything else? I think we just want to hear from you guys. Okay. If not, right, I think to just quickly let you guys know as well, if you're talking about shorting a stock, right, if there are any questions on how to short a stock using CFDs, it's essentially the same thing. All you need to do is you go and get your quantity, you set whatever price that you want to set. Of course, short itself, right, you will want to set a lower price to the current market itself, right? And you set the order timing, right, and everything, and then you can place the order itself. Okay. So long and short, essentially the same process. All right, but do note shorting is something that's quite unique to particular assets. You don't get to short, let's say with equities. So don't go and take this and utilize it anywhere else. Yeah. Do we have any further questions from the floor? I think if not, we'll give it a bit more time. Okay, because if we do not have any further questions, right, I think we will look to end the session soon. So I mean, I'm just going to hold off a little while more to see if we have any questions, and yeah, if we do not, then we'll end the session. All right. So we'll give it a bit more time. I think once again, I think in the meantime, really thank you guys for joining us. We know it's quite late in the day, and we also understand that probably it's been a long day for you guys as well. Yeah. So thank you. We're really glad to have you here with us today. Yeah. Okay, I think just to as a quick reminder, I think just now I answered the question that if once you submit your trading plan, whether you guys can change your plan in the middle of competition. Well, I just want to make sure I double confirm this again. Technically, you can't, because technically it's submitted in. Okay, so make sure that within your trading plan itself, right, you try to cover as much as possible all the possible scenarios in which you might need to deviate from the plan, or let's say rainy day scenarios, so to speak. Okay, and again, if you do feel that something is not working out within the trading plan itself, do make your on-the-fly adjustments, and when you present it, you can always explain why you make these on-the-fly adjustments, what you did differently, how you manage your risk, and so on. It's more than just about the trading plan itself, although we want to see a trading plan from you. All right? Any other questions that we have on the floor? I'm just going to quickly cover one more time also, okay? In case there are any questions about what time the market opens and closes, it's why I always tell you to look into the trading conditions, right? So if you actually see your trading conditions under instrument, right, you will actually see like what are the trading hours. And I mean, of course, now it shows EDT, right? Which is a specific time zone, but you can always change the time zone, and you can always search within the respective time zone that you need to see. All right. So do take note of some of these timings. Yeah. If not, I think we have come to the end of our presentation. I think I don't see any questions from the floor. I don't want to hold you guys back too long as well. Really, thank you all for your time again. Really, really glad that you guys can join us for this challenge. We're really, really happy to have you. And if you do have any further questions, right, please do feel free to write in. We'll love to take your questions. And yeah, do check out all our past investment videos if you do have any questions on what you should do, or what are some of the tips to trade and so on and so forth, right? We have covered quite a bit in the past few sessions. All right. And if not, really, once again, thank you for your time. We'll be ending the session here. Once again, thank you, and